Hi, welcome to Putting It on the Wind. I'm Ben Ujersky. When faced with the suffering or ill health of another person in need of prayers or some more immediate form of support, the most caring among us will frequently, perhaps even reflexively, offer to hold space for that individual. Our hearts might be in the right place, but sometimes our efforts fall short of our intentions, and after a quick prayer or maybe a phone call or two, we step back and continue on with our lives. That's fine, of course, if they're only asking for minimal involvement on our part. But if they're not, how do we know if we're really up to the task? Another way of viewing this is through the lens of bearing witness. Typically, this is understood as recognizing the person's affliction. But how often are we actually willing to go beyond that simple act of recognition and to meet the person where they are, so that we might be able to provide them with the support they really need, instead of what we ourselves deem appropriate? Among several definitions for the word bear, Webster's Online Dictionary offers the following: to accept or allow oneself to be subjected to, especially without giving way; to move while holding up and supporting; and to permit growth of. Taken from this perspective, the act of bearing witness suddenly changes from passive observation and identification into some form of active support, which encompasses everything to which that role subjects all parties involved. It can be messy, even grueling, and demands whatever transpires between the witnessed and the witness be as clean, clear, open, supportive, and essential as that relationship requires. And make no mistake, holding space is a transactional relationship. If done correctly, both parties will be affected by the work, sometimes irrevocably. Experience has taught me that if I'm being asked to sit with someone, then I'm also expected to sit with myself in the meantime. The greater the depth of my own work, the greater the depth to which their work can go. The further they progress towards understanding and healing their wounding, the further I am required to progress towards understand and healing my own. Otherwise, my fear, shame, guilt, or other afflictions might impose limitations on the degree to which the other person can heal. For this reason, it's imperative that proper boundaries be established and maintained. The person must be given the room to simply be as they are, to move at their own pace, and to receive whatever healing they are ready for. The witness, on the other hand, will be asked to listen without judgment, to provide appropriate support, and to be completely in the other person's presence, no matter what that looks like. This is often difficult and painful, especially when it involves those we love. We must be willing to endure having our hearts broken and not interfere for the sake of the other person's well-being. Any act of comfort, even something as simple as a hand on their shoulder, might actually be an attempt on our part, knowingly or otherwise, to shut down that person's emotions because they trigger something in us, and we don't like the way we feel in the presence of that. Otherwise, we run the risk of projecting our own wounds upon them and using that as a way to heal ourselves vicariously. In our culture, we seem to place a great deal of value upon sympathy. Greeting card companies make a killing on sympathy cards that all seem to carry some variation of the words, "In this time of what must undoubtedly be the deepest, blackest pit of despair out of which you've ever had to drag yourself," often followed by some obligatory version of, "I know exactly how you feel." The truth is, with as little as many of us often know about our own emotional landscape, it's highly improbable, or even impossible, to know exactly how someone else feels. This is the great lie of sympathy. Empathy, however, is something else entirely. Empathy says, I can see that you're hurting, but I can't even begin to understand what that feels like for you. So I'm just going to be here in whatever way you need me to while you go through it. I won't claim to know your pain, but I'll do my best to ride shotgun for you while you navigate it. This is the foundation of compassionate healing. And it's also what's being asked of us when we take up the task of holding space for someone. We must accept that we are only there to support them in their living through of this experience. This might occasionally require calling them on their bullshit, or it might mean biting our tongue and allowing them to reap the wisdom that can only be gained by hitting the wall. Whatever is needed, they are the only one who gets to determine the course of their actions. Sometimes this means that they will only go so far. Regardless of our own wishes, we must be willing to accept that and to let them walk away if they are truly at the point where they are no longer being served by our involvement. We are also required to do the same if our continued presence provides no benefit, enables their affliction in some way, or otherwise interferes with their recovery. Truly bearing witness for someone can be challenging. It can demand a great deal from both sides. But if done in an honest, compassionate, and unflinching manner, it can also provide an opportunity for great healing. Thanks for being a part of this. Until next time.